So tell me about how you got here. This is a semi-new role for you, which congratulations. That's super, super exciting.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I guess I worked at Honey Birdette, which is a luxury lingerie brand from Australia. I worked there for about 12 years. So I've been in the lingerie sphere like for a really long time.
Right, that's a hot minute. Yes.
Yeah. So I started working, like I guess I first started as a costume designer.
Okay.
Like that's sort of what I studied straight out of school.
Interesting. What did you work on, film or in theater?
I actually worked on Mardi Gras parades. That was my niche. So I was very
yeah. Okay, also tell us a little bit about that, not to detract from your story, but
so I come from like a long line of dressmakers and designers, so I used to help my auntie out when I was young and help her with costumes and things like that. And then I wanted to work in costume design, so I studied costume design for a while, and I got a lot of gigs with my auntie making costumes for the Mardi Gras parade. So we have the like this huge Mardi Gras parade in Sydney. So I'd make all of these really fabulous outfits, lots of feathers.
Okay, incredible. You're gonna have to share some photos.
Yeah, I'll find some. And lots of burlesque costumes at that time as well. Burlesque was huge.
Fun.
Yeah. And
my gosh,
the centerpiece is lingerie for those costumes.
Right.
So it was sort of just like a natural progression into lingerie eventually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I love that era of fashion too, and just like the detail that goes into it is incredible. I could totally see how that would train to set you up for something like lingerie.
Yeah. So I worked in costume for a while. I eventually stumbled upon a Honey Birdette store. They only had, I think, about 3 at the time. They just opened up, and that time in Sydney, I'm obviously Australian.
Right.
Lingerie just was not a huge scene. So for me to find a lingerie store where I could like find the base of my costumes was so exciting for me. So I spent so much time in that store, and eventually they were like, why don't you just work here? And you can get
that's incredible.
Yeah, why don't you just work here? You're here all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
That like also happened to me at like my Pilates studio, for example. Like they're like, you spend a lot of time here. Do you maybe want to hang out here a little more? I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I love those just like organic connections that happen, and those interests develop in such a way that feels really nice and natural. It's really special.
Yeah, totally. And it was really special. Like when I started working for Honey Birdette at that time, they didn't even make their own product yet. So they were sort of just a lingerie store selling other brands.
Yeah.
So throughout the years, like I was there for 12 years, so we started creating product there, and it all just happened very naturally.
So what did you start in it? Like, were you on the sales floor?
Yeah, like I started on the sales floor.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so special. I love that like 360 experience of like really getting in and understanding it.
Yeah.
What did you learn while being on the sales floor, and like
so much? I mean,
seeing people interact with lingerie, I feel like it's such an intimate experience, obviously, from you buying it to however you're utilizing it. Well, tell me about that.
It was incredible. Like I love my experience in the store. Like I owe so much to that experience because I really understand the customer mindset with buying lingerie and what goes through someone's mind.
Right.
Not everyone is like me. Like I was like very confident. I shop for lingerie. I have no problem with it. But when I started working there, not everyone is like that. And
100%.
I would have some people come through. They would be, mature women, like in their 60s.
Yeah.
They're going through marriage breakups. There are lots of different reasons as to why they're coming to the lingerie store, but nevertheless they're uncomfortable for whatever reason it is. For whatever's happening in their life. Maybe they're looking for lingerie to rekindle a relationship. Maybe they've just gotten out of a relationship and they want to explore themselves a little bit more. But it was
100%.
amazing. Yeah,
It's an emotional buy.
it really
Right.
is.
It's not like you're just going in and buying like your next black turtleneck of the season. Like,
Nobody goes in and just picks something off the hanger and
No.
takes it to the cash register.
my
Like
God.
that does not happen in a
Never.
lingerie store.
every single time I go in, I'm buying like, or I'm buying, I mean, maybe sometimes, but trying on a plethora of things, just like grabbing, like, okay, we're gonna see what happens with this. But it really is, it's kind of like that emotional journey that guides you through.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes unexpected things happen, and you're like, okay, this is it. I feel incredible in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I worked in the store, it's a very small boutique, the Honey Birdette stores. So it's all about curating an experience for the customer. So they would come in, you're sort of talking to them, trying to understand what it is they're looking for, if you can help them with sizing or whatever.
Yeah.
And as you're getting to know these customers, like this literally happened to me. Like people would start crying sometimes and telling me, you know, I'm going through this or I'm going through that, and
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I just need to do something different. And I'd be like, okay, take a seat. Like,
Right. Deep
we're
breaths.
gonna-
We're gonna get you through
we're
this.
gonna get through it.
Yes.
You know, and you end up pulling outfits that you think what they need or they're going to be comfortable in, and you know, they spend hours in the store. You spend hours with people sometimes, and they go into the change room and they come out a different person, like a different person from what walked in there. Like they're still the same person, but they're seeing themselves in a different light, and they're confident. For some people, literally like for the first time in their lives.
Right. Oh my gosh, what a rewarding experience. That's really, really incredible. Which now I'm going to back you up too. I love that you use your word curate, because obviously that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know, like, what does curate mean to you? And then we'll dive in further. But starting off there, like, what is your perspective on that word?
I mean, there is context to it for sure, but I think generally speaking, to me, curating is choosing things, whatever they are, to represent a feeling or a concept. Like you may not have designed those things yourself, but you are choosing them, like you're making the decision to choose them to represent a concept or an emotion. That's what I would say.
Yes, I absolutely love that. I do, again, tying into this like emotional emphasis. It really like it brings it all together, and it feels very personal. Yeah, I love that, which is I think it's such a special word. I love, okay, so applying that to your design process then, I feel like designing is the ultimate form of curation. So how did you enter the role of design then, going from working on the sales floor to this new world, a new application of lingerie?
Well, at HB, like my time there, I think we were lucky because we had stores already, so we could really engage with our customers before we started designing, before we took the step to design product. So we had a lot of understanding about what they wanted. It wasn't so much that we created a product first and then tried to market it to people. We sort of knew what women were looking for, and so we designed that product. And
that's incredible.
That's always been the way that we've designed at that company. Like we really know who our customer is, and we are designing for her.
That's so special because, I think fashion's less fun when you're being told, like, you should look a certain way. This is the trend that you should be investing in. And it's, it's something I struggle with too, where I have a trend forecasting background. And sometimes it feels like, you're telling people what to do. And I feel like that's just so not the approach. It's you want to understand their mindset and their ethos and what is society really wanting, and then giving that back. And that's what makes that process so rewarding, I feel like.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so tell me a bit more then, how did you end up at Playboy?
So I moved around a little bit with Honey Birdette. I moved to London and sort of headed up the UK for a while when we expanded there. Then I made the move to the US.
Okay, she's a jet setter.
And I had been living in the US already for about 3 or 4 years, and last year Playboy bought Honey Birdette. With the intention, obviously Playboy already had the intention to move into the lingerie sphere.
Yes.
So I was already based here in LA, so I met the Playboy team and started working with them, and I was very excited at the opportunity to create a new lingerie brand for Playboy. Yeah.
So incredible. And it's no easy task, I can imagine. Like the weight in such a positive way, the weight of the brand is so iconic, like globally.
I know, it's so funny because it's kind of the opposite of my experience where I came from Honey Birdette, which was essentially a lingerie store first. Then we started to know our customer and designed into that customer, where Playboy is the opposite. It's this huge brand that everyone knows, but they haven't been in consumer products. So it's the reverse.
Oh, that's such an interesting mindset shift. Yeah. So tell me, working within Playboy and launching this new line for them, what has that experience been like? Like, what's the process and what's your mindset going into it?
Well, it's difficult because Playboy is this mega brand, right? Like everyone knows what Playboy is. I can show the Playboy body to anyone. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find who is our customer for lingerie. And in what I'm trying to say is within Playboy, that's kind of difficult because it's so broad.
Right.
And it can be for anyone. So what this year has been all about, especially for me, is trying to create a lingerie brand that has a theme that people understand. When you look at it, you think Playboy, but it has to have mass appeal.
Right, which is such a tough balance.
Yeah.
I feel like people who aren't so ingrained within fashion or the creative process would think like it's easier to design, like everyone's gonna want it, it's gonna fit everybody, but that actually is like such a challenge to how do you make it special, but how do you have it be mass appealing?
Yeah.
And finding that balance, it's tough.